Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chattanooga FC pregame live show away edition. We're sponsored by Workshop. I'm your host, Charlie Milburn, coming to you live from the beautiful and prestigious CFC offices. The boys in blue are in Michigan, preparing for the first game of the NISA fall season against Michigan Stars FC. It's on tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure you tune in and watch the game. It will be streamed on MyCuju. You can get that either online or you can download the MyCuju app to watch the boys in blue in action. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. We've got a great show today. We will be joined momentarily by Andrew and Matt from the Section 109 podcast. They're going to come on and discuss last week's victory in the NISA Independent Cup, and they're going to take a first look at tonight's starting 11. Also, we'll be breaking down tonight's match against the Michigan Stars FC. Afterwards, we're going to be talking with forward Santi Agudello to discuss his path to pro, his journey to Chattanooga, and a whole lot more. So stick around. It's a jam-packed show. You definitely do not want to miss it. Before we start, though, Chattanooga FC would like to give a shout-out to our friends over at Vibrant Meals. Vibrant Meals provides a fantastic, ready-to-eat, delicious, real food made from scratch and portion-controlled to meet your lifestyle. So be sure to check them out at myvibrantmeals.com. That's myvibrantmeals.com. So without further ado, let's get into the X's and O's, and let's welcome Matt Caniglio and Andrew Brizzi. Hey, guys. How are you?
Hey, what's happening?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Not too much. It's a little slower on away days. There's not as much pregame hype, but I know that everybody here is excited to see our first foray into the NISA conference, the fall season, starting off tonight. So before we get into that, though, let's talk about last Saturday's decisive 3-0 victory over Soda City in the NISA Independent Cup. I think we actually have a couple of highlights to look at. So let's take a look at those right now.
Chattanooga able to build back. Not much pressure from Soda City at this point. They're giving Chattanooga room. That's a nice long ball. A little bit strong. Keeps it in. Here we come with the cross. Into the box. Cut back. Oh, and the keeper spills it. McGrath. Bang. There's a goal. First one. Who's got it? Your man McGrath. Keeper couldn't hold on to it. You can't hold it in the box. More games coming. More games at last. We have something approaching schedule coming together. Everyone is excited about that. Oh, look at the Hernandez breaking through. That's Bement off. Bement trying to come inside. 2 on him. Can he get space? Gets the shot away. Oh, under the goalkeeper. Slides it under the goalkeeper like the goalkeeper's not even there. Brian Bement, number 14. Another. Don't forget, if you've come in late, I did mention earlier there are some extra CFC games coming up. We've got some 2 away games. We're going off to Michigan Stars next Saturday, August the 8th. We'll be up at their Superdome at Michigan. And then we're going to Detroit City August 15th. Play our friends over at DCFC at Hamtramck. That's a good ball in. Dixon. No. Hang on. That's another goal. Jackson. Caleb Jackson. 3rd goal. Does he always get 3 goals? He got 3 goals.
Those are always fun to watch. So it was basically one-way traffic last week with familiar names: Ian McGrath, Caleb Jackson, and Brian Bement scoring goals. Guys, let me know what you think about the decisive win last week. What are some initial thoughts?
Matt, go ahead.
So the first thing I would say about last week is that we were not always solid in the middle of the field, but we controlled it enough so that Soda City did not get any attacking advantages whatsoever. I think they might have ended up with 1 shot, and that was it for the entire game. Yeah. So I think that the most important thing was that our transition play, playing the ball from one line to another, and especially from midfield to attack, is what was able to help us create those chances that you just saw there. To be able to score goals. And I think as that relates to tonight, it's going to be massively important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Andrew?
So I think we came out of the gates really hot, which was good, right? Like when you're at home, you don't want to dilly-dally around. You don't want to just leave it to the other team to grow into the game. We started out hot, and we could have scored 5 or 6 in that first half. So that's what I liked kind of most about last game was 2 quick early goals. And then, like Matt said, we took advantage when we needed to. And I felt our defense was very strong. We allowed 1 shot on goal, and that shot was not a particularly dangerous shot. So I'll be looking for us to continue those strengths, which is taking advantage kind of good opportunities, but also most importantly, staying strong in the defensive end. If we don't allow a shot, we're not going to get scored on.
So give me maybe a name or two of some guys that you think last week really stood out. More than it's easy to say, okay, look at the guys that scored the goals, and those are our most impressive guys. I mean, they've been scoring nonstop, it seems like, and it's been really great to see. Who are some of those other guys that are really playing key roles that are helping CFC be so impressive as of right now?
So I think Juan Hernandez, one of the old heads, had a really, really tidy game. I thought he was good on the ball, good in defense, and he had an assist and he was named man of the match. But I don't think a lot of his good work was necessarily flashy. I think he just did a lot of the controlling the tempo, pushing the ball left, pushing the ball right, making sure we stayed sharp and stayed in control. So I thought he had a really, really good game. And then I'll shout out Eric Panzer as well. I thought he kept the defense very organized, and he came very close to scoring on a corner where he picked the pocket of a forward that was trying to break and had a nice shot on goal. So those are the 2 guys that I thought had really nice games. What about you, Matt?
Well, I would just add that I think so much of our offense in the Independent Cup, and I'm going to guess also tonight, is going to come from Richard Dixon in that right wing back role. When he's able to get forward, he can use his athleticism to get past people. Obviously, you saw in the first highlight, he played that ball in for Zeka, where the ball was saved and McGrath ended up scoring. But if he's able to get to the byline there, he's going to have a lot of opportunities for tonight. And throughout the Members Cup, and really just in the 2 games that he played, I think that side of the field is where we can have a difference maker. And he showed that in the Soda City game throughout.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to me. We've started the season playing with a back 3, and we've had Richard Dixon and Cam Woodfin as the wingbacks, and they have played a massive role in the attacking third of the game on both sides, both left and right, just being those kind of key instigators to setting up those crosses, setting up that play to really give our forwards some good looks.
Yeah, I agree. The wingbacks have been key. It's a real bummer to lose Ray Lee, but we're obviously really happy for him. I don't know if that's in the on the agenda to talk about some more, but I do think that Cam has done a really nice job in the preseason while Ray was injured. And I think that Richard Dixon, as Matt said, has been a massive for sure person on that back line.
Anything from last week's game that gave you cause for concern going into this first match against Michigan Stars?
I would just say that I know sometimes CFC fans, based on their reputation, may not take Michigan Stars seriously, especially as they are professional team now. Sure. I think we should disavail ourselves of that. I think they're going to be tough to play against, and so the thing that I really want to see as it relates from the Independent Cup to now is the level of play is going to step up, whether anyone realizes it or not. And so we've played our little preseason tournament here, and we're going to have to be ready for a much more organized, much more disciplined, and much more athletic team.
Yeah, I agree with what Matt said. To key a little bit even more on the third part of what he said, which is more athletic. I think we're going to play a team that's going to be a lot bigger, stronger, and faster, and have all the technical quality, if not more technical quality, than anyone we've played so far. So we have had the advantage, I think, in every facet so far, which is the right thing, right? We want to have the advantage. We want to have the better team. But I think now, I don't know if they're going to be better than us in certain things, but they're certainly going to be a different type of opponent for us. Bigger, faster, stronger, and also very technical. So I think this is a really good test for us, and it's going to tell us a lot. Maybe not where we're going to finish in NISA in this fall season, but definitely give us a preview of the kind of opponent that we're going to play.
Yeah, good introductory yardstick, so to speak, to measure us against.
Definitely.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the game tonight. by talking about our history with Michigan Stars. So we played them twice in 2019. Once here, which was a rather excruciating rain-soaked torrential downpour, in which we had a draw, a 1-1 draw, and then up in Pontiac, Michigan, a decisive 4-1 victory. I love the shout out with the Chattahooligan lager there, Breezy. That's a nice touch. Good job. Well
Cheers.
done. Well played.
I may be drinking for the boys in blue.
Very nice. I like the home gating. That's a good setup.
Always.
Very cool. So we do have some history with Michigan Stars, but as you mentioned, stepping up to the next level, Nisa, they've invested in a lot of pro players just like we have. So what are some initial thoughts that you guys have for the game, additional things that we need to look out for?
So I'm going to watch for two different things in probably the first 30 minutes of the first half. I want to see what Michigan Stars does with the ball. If they're going to try to be proactive, if they're really just planning on sitting and countering and playing for set pieces. The only common opponent we have, and granted it's been 5-6 months, was Oakland Roots. They played them the week after we did. And Michigan Stars played Oakland much the same way we did. They sat back, they countered, they were launching long balls to a really athletic striker from a very low block. So it'll be curious to see what they do, how they approach us. Are we going to come out and be the possessive kind of offensive team that we've been in the Independent Cup? Or are we going to sit back a little bit, see how the game develops being on the road, the stepped up competition? I think it's going to be a bit of a cage match for the first 30 minutes as the teams get their footing.
Yeah, I agree with that. In particular, I'm very concerned, not scared, but concerned about what happens with our defense. We haven't really been tested outside of the first game with the Georgia Rebs, where they generated a couple good opportunities. It was our first game. Everything was a little shaky. I'm interested to see what we look like. This is going to be a real test. And I don't think, both based on skill, because we've been very good, and based on our competition, we've been tested on the back line repeatedly and regularly, and specifically on that left side. So we haven't got to our starting lineups yet, but if we're going to see Cameron Woodfin again on that left side, which we have all preseason, Cam's a very good player, but he's an attacking player. He's not a defender. Is he able to handle this competition the same way he has in the preseason, which is with ease, or is he put under a lot more pressure, and is it a lot more difficult adjustment for him? That's all to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of one of the things with when you play a back three, part of the challenge is keeping that back three from getting stretched apart and having people find those channels to work through. So we'll see what happens tonight, but that's an excellent segue to our starting 11. So let's take a quick sneak peek at that. So our starting 11 tonight is brought to you by Trey Nelm State Farm. And not a lot of changes from our Independent Cup championship winning match last week. We do have a change in goal. So for goalkeeper, we're going to have Matt Mozinski is going to be starting for us. Back three, much the same as last week. We'll have Alec McKinley on the left side, Eric Panzer in the middle, Nick Spielman on the right. Then we're going to see those wingbacks again, same pair that we saw last week. Cam Woodfin on the left-hand side, Richard Dixon on the right. El Capitan Juan Hernandez is going to be in the midfield, along with the mustachioed duo of Kyle Carr and Ian McGrath. Actually, Juan's got a mustache too. That whole line has got the mustache. It's very good. Then we've got up top, we're going to have Caleb Jackson in what usually is Brian Bement's spot, and then Zeka as well, another legend there in the front. So, any thoughts on the lineup, on the changes there?
I think that is interesting in goal. I think Alex had a really good preseason, so I'll be interested to see how Matt does. It's a new keeper, but a more experienced keeper. Matt's a little older and a little more experienced overall, so I feel good with either one in goal, but it's a little bit of a change. And then going forward, obviously not having Brian is a big deal. He's scored in all three games this preseason, and I think that's a big loss, quite frankly. But KJ has also been great, so Yeah, I'm interested to see how that turns out. What are you thinking, Matt?
I still think that no matter who we rotate in at keeper, no matter who we rotate in at forward, this game is going to be won and lost in the midfield. In that midfield three with Juan Hernandez, Kyle Carr, and Ian McGrath. Can Ian McGrath create space for other players, especially the forwards, in attack? Can Juan Hernandez dictate the play of game? And can Kyle Carr stay disciplined in that holding role to be able to protect the defensive line and to be able to spread out the play to the wingbacks and Cam Woodfin and Richard Dixon? I think if those three players have good games, then CFC is going to win this thing. And if not, then we might struggle.
And can Ian continue his scoring form? He is also another guy who scored in all 3 games.
Yeah, it's rare. Well, it's somewhat rare at this level for a midfielder of his size and caliber to be playing in the position he's playing and to have the goal scoring record that he has. And KJ definitely brings a different change. He's a little bit faster than Brian Bement. He's usually been that kind of super sub that comes in around the 60th minute, and it's worked out really well for him, scoring 2 goals for us in the last 2 games. So we'll see how that plays out tonight against Michigan Stars. So in addition to that, we also have a couple of one brand new face for us, and then one that we really haven't talked about as much. We've got David Koloko, who has been with us for a couple of weeks, who comes from Stumptown Athletic. He had a super strong showing so far from the Independent Cup. And then another brand new face for us, starting on the bench, is Shawn Russell, and he comes to us from USL League One side forward Madison, which is it's a great outfit up there in Madison. So any thoughts on these 2 guys?
I'll start with Shawn Russell. You want to take David? You want to take Koloko?
Sure.
All right. So Shawn Russell, I'm very excited to see play. He's a left-footed player, an incredible athlete, and a good soccer player. But not every good soccer player is an athlete. And this is a guy who can play left back or left center back, which is not an easy thing to do. You have to really be able to cover ground and get around players and really go to cover both those positions. So I'm very excited about that. And this is a guy that was not always a left center back in a high level. He played left back through college, and then he did not make a professional roster as a left back. And it wasn't until he switched full-time to left center back that he was able to make the Richmond Kickers roster, and then he played a couple games for them. And then last year was able to make a roster with Forward Madison. So he's a player that's changed a lot in his soccer journey, and that's always good to see, a guy that's evolving and pushing forward. And hopefully we'll see him pushing up the left side at some point to help CFC this season.
So for David Koloko, he is predominantly a defensive midfielder, can also play center back, very, very athletic player, good technically. And as you saw in the highlights from the last week game, he had the assist for Caleb Jackson's goal. He can absolutely pass the ball. The interesting thing about David Koloko is that he played for Atlanta Silverbacks in 2018. He played for Atlanta SC in 2019, was on their NISA roster as well, before he moved over to Stumptown for the beginning part of 2020. I think Koloko is going to be a guy that, as he gets more comfortable with his role at CFC, is going to make a bigger and bigger impact. And I'm not surprised to see him on the bench to start this game.
Sure.
But I also would not be surprised if he subs out Kyle Carr to be the 6, or if he takes one of the center back spots, if there are any injuries or anything like that. He can play multiple positions, and he's going to be for sure an integral part of the team going forward.
Yeah, no doubt there. Definitely a couple of talented guys. And then on the other side, Andrew, I know you kind of teased this a little bit earlier, but we were unfortunately had to transfer defender Ray Lee, which was a great move for him, moving up to the USL Championship to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. So any thoughts on that move and maybe what that's going to mean for the club?
So as long as there's not promotion and relegation in the U.S. system, where we can't just win games, take players up to moving up the next level, I think CFC, being in a small market, being a team that does not have the budget of the New York Cosmos, does not have the resources like a Forward Madison might, we have to differentiate ourselves in the American soccer landscape. And one of the things that we can do is by earning player transfer fees. That's how we can increase our budget long term. So whether it was just a few $1,000s to cover his salary, whether it was a lot more than that. This is a great starting point for CFC. It's allowing a player that was at the USL Championship level who came down to us to get back to the highest level that he can possibly play at. And it's a sign for other players out there, if they're at Division II or anywhere else in the system, that if you come to Chattanooga FC, you play well, we will help you move on. We will help you move to the next level. That's one of the things that can make CFC a great place to develop players. And over the course of time, it's going to allow players that we may not necessarily see for very long, especially, be able to play here and then move on. And we'll be able to watch them in the greater game in years to come.
Very cool. Well, guys, thank you so much. I think we've hit our time. If anyone wants to hear more of these fine gentlemen in their commentary, which you definitely should, check out the Section 109 podcast. You can download it wherever you download podcasts. So Matt, Andrew, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys being on, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you, Charlie. Enjoy the game.
Cheers. All right. That was really, really great. Those guys really know their stuff for sure. So next up, we're going to be joined by forward Santi Agudello. Looks like Santi will be joining us right there. Hey, Santi, how are you? Let's see. Don't know if we can hear you.
There you go. Hello.
Oh, hey. Now we can hear you coming in loud and clear. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry you're actually at home today. You weren't able to travel up to Michigan with the rest of the team. Can you give us a status of kind of where you are right now, what's going on with your injury, when you can expect to be getting back?
Yes, I actually expect to go back around September.
Okay.
Mid-September. I just got a surgery a week ago.
Okay.
On my meniscus. They were fixing my meniscus because I had a small little tear on it.
Yeah.
So they fixed that. I had a surgery on it. I'm actually doing really better than I thought I was going to. I'm already walking.
Great.
I'm starting my therapy next week. So hopefully I expect to be back mid-September and healthy and well, ready to go.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you. We can't wait to see you. I know you're going to be coming back stronger than ever.
I've been watching for way too long.
I bet it's hard being there on the sidelines and wanting to jump in and help, but not being able to. But we know that you're doing your best.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you fell in love with the game of soccer. What were your first memories playing with the soccer ball, and tell us how you fell in love with the game.
So I grew up in Colombia. I fell in love with the game because of mostly my dad. My dad coached when I was really young, and he coached like semi-professional in Colombia. It's called like a second division in Colombia.
Yeah,
it's like the next, like the step you need to go professional. And he was coaching that league. So when I was young, I was always on the sidelines watching, always there. And then I learned from a lot of good players that would play on that league, and I fell in love just watching it. And my dad pushed me into it, and I just grew up loving it.
That's great. That's great. And then, what was the moment, or maybe handful of moments that made you realize that you really could do this for a living? You wanted to try to play it professionally and take the next step. What was that moment for you?
Man, college was definitely a moment where I was definitely like, I want to definitely push myself. I had 2 great seasons on my Division II college that I went in Fort Hays, Kansas. My first section actually was the best one, and after that season, I just decided I wanted to keep pushing and work hard until I can make it one day. And then Chattanooga opened the doors for me, and it's been a blessing to be here.
Yeah, we're definitely lucky to have you. What was it that made you decide to come to the Scenic City and play for Chattanooga FC?
When I finished my season in December 2019, Bill called me. He was the first person I talked to ever from Chattanooga, and then we had a great conversation for like an hour. We're talking about soccer, and then his school actually plays my school if we ever make it to like the championship. So talking about college soccer for a while. Then it came to the decision where he asked me if I wanted to come to Chattanooga. I said, yeah, it's definitely a place I would like to start my journey, you know. My school wasn't a big school, so like coming from a small school and trying to make it on a team that's starting professionally, I was definitely excited to come, and I didn't hesitate. I told them, yeah, I would definitely wanted to come to Chattanooga and try it out and see how my season goes. Sadly, when like this whole thing is happening, so it's been crazy, but I expect to play soon and, you know, show what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What have been your impressions of being in Chattanooga? Has being a part of Chattanooga FC met your expectations?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't. It's a small city with a lot of things to do outdoors, and I love being outdoors. And that's Chattanooga is beautiful outdoors. Soccer wise, the players, my teammates are amazing on and off the field. We bond with each other everywhere. Our coaching staff and everybody that I met through the club has been amazing and great people. Like I can never say I met somebody mean in Chattanooga.
Well, if you love the outdoors, you are definitely in the right place. There is so much stuff to do here in the scenic city. So besides Chattanooga FC, of course, who are your favorite teams that you like to follow?
One of my favorite teams is because I grew up in this city and I was there for 7 years is FC Dallas, the MLS team. That's one of my teams because I play for their academy. I was there for 7 years. Since I was 13 years to 20. I had a great time over there in Dallas, and I loved it. I loved it over there, and I followed them. Like sadly, I was actually upset when they were playing the MLS tournament back, and I was like, "Oh man, my team is not there to follow support."
Oh,
that's like one of my teams.
How about outside of the U.S.? Do you have any?
In Europe, my team is Madrid.
Okay.
Madrid, even without Ronaldo. I love Madrid. And in Colombia, the team that I grew up in my city, I actually went to a lot of games when I was young. My dad took me to a lot of these games. It's called Once Caldas. They once won the South American Cup. It's kind of like the South American Champions League, you know?
Yeah.
It's Copa Libertadores. That's what it's called. So I follow a lot of soccer there. So those are like the team from my city, and then from Dallas. Those are like the two main teams I follow, and Madrid, of course.
Yeah. Well, the Colombian national team has had years of success as well, and so
the World Cups also.
That's right.
Definitely James. You know, I love James. Falcao is actually one of my favorite players.
Very cool. Very cool. To have one of your favorite players from your home nation is a really cool thing.
It is. I would love to like meet him someday. Yeah, it'd be amazing. You know, play against him. You know. Ooh.
There you go. Hey, why not? It'll happen. Maybe at FC Dallas. You never know. That would be great.
Maybe here in Chattanooga. Why not?
Yeah, there you go. All right, James. There it is.
There you go.
There it is. There's the invitation. Come on down. Well, Santi, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you for taking a few moments to speak with us. And we cannot wait until September so we can see you back on the pitch doing great things.
All right. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Very good. Yeah. Have a great day. Thank you. All right. Santi is such a great guy, and we wish him a speedy recovery so we can get back on the pitch soon. So we have a giveaway reminder for you. Last week, we announced that we are going to be giving away a set of all three Hummel jerseys, the 2020 jerseys. You've got your home kit, your away kit, and a goalkeeper kit. This is a chance to win all three. So what you want to do is head over to our Twitter page, Chattanooga FC, and you'll find the link there and sign up to enter. We'll be giving those jerseys away very soon. Following tonight's match, Chattanooga FC is going to be hitting the road back to Michigan once again next week to face our mortal frenemies, Detroit City FC. This will be our second match of the NISA fall season. The game will be played behind closed doors, but you can still watch the stream online, so make sure that you tune in for that. That's going to be extremely exciting. And then after that, we're going to have two back-to-back home games against New Amsterdam and the New York Cosmos, who is a familiar foe for us. So that's all we've got for tonight. Don't forget to watch Chattanooga FC versus Michigan Stars FC tonight on MyCuju, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, just 30 minutes from now. So head over to ChattanoogaFC.com for more information. Thanks so much for everybody joining us tonight. My name is Charlie Milburn. We'll see you next time.